and events you want to be known, then amp them up on Amp It Up, our new online radio station. We want your voice to be heard, so spread the word on Amp It Up. Contact us at 866-224-5422 for more information. Let's amp it up.
It's lunchtime, and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from Studio A in the heart of Delray Gallery, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, a movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll free at 888-565-1470 right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
And events you want.
And welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe. And we are at Carmen Laser today. I want to have fun today.
So do I.
So do I. My co-host Dawn is homesick, and we wish her the best. Aww. Rhonda's kicking in here today. It's going to be a wacky show. A lot of moving parts, because Freddie's going to be doing a lot of talking.
That's nothing new, though.
So if you want to change the channel, now would be the time to do it. Otherwise, you're going to get hooked up. We got some new greatest and best things coming out. We have some.
Well, I'm excited because it's a health segment. We're going to talk about alternative healing and different
methods.
And
are you healthy?
I try to be healthy.
You're a health coach, aren't you?
I'm a nutrition and wellness and personal trainer.
All
so
of
I
that?
do my best. Yeah.
You're one busy lady.
Yeah, I do my best to be healthy. Could I improve? Yes.
Everybody can improve. And that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about is all the latest and greatest of what you're going to be bringing in some guests in here. We're going to have Ann at the 1 o'clock hour. And we're going to change up some stuff because I got some exciting news that's coming our way. We have our new facility right down the street. We are actually going to be neighbors.
So exciting. That's been my lifelong dream.
Yes.
To be Freddie's neighbor?
Mine too. I will bring you a cup of coffee now and still make it back to the set.
And,
give me some treatment.
And you can come for treatments a little easier now.
And now there's no excuse.
There's no excuse.
And I used to come here for treatment. This lady actually gave me the feeling back in my legs from my neuropathy.
Oh.
And
What did she do?
What she do? You name it. In this place, and she's going to go over what she does in here, but in this place, we started with laser, and then there was this mask that I saw Mars. It gave me a 6 o'clock shadow, not 3, 6, because I grew a beard.
Took 10 years, back to your life, added back to your life, rather?
It was like unbelievable stuff, but she's put me through all the different things that she does here, the venues and everything else. Some of the interests is that Dawn tried to match wits with me, and Dawn couldn't take it. We also
Is that why she's sick today?
That's where she should be down here getting healthy.
Yeah.
We also share some clients that we talked to here as well. One of them was an intern. I don't know how she's doing, but just a lot of magical stuff coming down. But before we get started, caring and sharing. If you're watching today's show and you want to share it out, help us out. Facebook is what Facebook is. It really doesn't make a difference. You can see us on Twitch. You can see us on Periscope, YouTube. We're all over the place. Just share it out. We don't have the phone line up today, right? We do not. We do not have phone line in today, so you're going to have to write in. I saw the deaf yesterday was writing in comments and stuff. If you guys see anybody writing in, just call it out, and we'll give a shout-out to people doing the write-up, okay? All right. This portion of the show is brought to you by... You want to say it?
I want you to do A.
You want me to do A?
I'll do B.
A, Carmen Care. Come get healthy. That's what we came up with. Also, Danielle, come get your free headshots, Danielle Photography. And Farrell Law Firm. Fight for their right and don't be bullied. Is that correct?
Fight for your rights, but don't be bullied either.
That's right. Now, I can't read your handwriting, so you have to give out the numbers.
Okay. I did warn you about that,
Yes.
though. For Carmen Care, the number is 561-405-9577. For Danielle, 561-305-2241. And for Farrow Law Firm, 954-252-6818.
You've done this before.
A couple of times.
In California, I saw some of your video, right? You were a newscaster out there doing something.
Yeah, I worked for some small stations doing news and sports reporting.
Did you?
Yeah, learned a lot.
Good stuff. All right, we got a jam-packed show, so we're going to get to our hosts and our guests, and we're going to talk a little bit about what they do. Again, if you have questions, we are not taking phone calls in, but you can write in. You want to ask a question. If you can't make it down here and have a cup of coffee with us, you can write in, and we'll try to answer whatever question you have, because some of this stuff, if not all of it, is going to be brand new stuff. All right, so follow the bouncing ball. And Dawn, we wish you the best, and let us know how you feel at the end of the day. All right. So, where do you want to begin?
Well, I'd like to begin that at Carmen Care, we've opened since 2013.
Right.
We've actually evolved. It's so beautiful when you can take a business from here and then kind of see it grow up and see that it's not just really what you started with. And sometimes you just have to go with the flow, and it's just going to take you automatically. And we have grown where we just did laser at the beginning. And we saw that laser therapy was fabulous, but if your body is overloaded with toxins, you're probably not going to be able to use that energy the way you'd like to. And your body is so smart, it's going to take that energy and go to wherever your body needs it the most. So we saw that when we start doing environmental detox and getting rid of heavy metals and mercury and dioxin and all that, then your body is able to use that laser and heal faster and better. Then we also realized, well, there's a big emotional component. And I know we've talked about this many times on the show, and a lot of people agree, and then some are like, yeah, I'm not too sure. But there is so much evidence that emotional distress causes disease, that alone could be a whole show. But we started to see, well, we need to add that component as well. And so we created the protocol called a T3 paradigm, treating the trauma to the cells with the laser, the toxins to the cells with the detoxing, and the thoughts that we create in our mind with the thoughts being NLP or energy, just learning how to muscle test and things like that. So when we saw that those three things together are really what skyrockets or makes the healing so much faster. So that's where we were about a year ago, where we did those three things. And then in the meantime, I've seen other reasons why maybe we don't heal as well as we could. Because my goal really is to get people in and out and healed as fast as possible. I'm happy if they could come one time and be healed. That's my goal. How do I achieve that? Or how do we achieve that as a team? So there are other things that are very important, such as medications. So yes, medications are necessary in a lot of instances. You have to lower blood pressure. You have to take some pain pills. I mean, we try to avoid that, but nevertheless, it's necessary in some cases. Right. Well, what we've seen is when people would come in with a whole load of medication, I'd say, did you write your medications down? They say, well, I have a list. I go, oh, a list. I hate when I hear a list. Right. Because that's just not a good sign. So, right. So what we found was Kathy from Parallel Profile. They've developed something that's absolutely phenomenal, and she will explain it to you. But what happens is we can actually have a test and see, very easy, see what medications do you metabolize and what medications have contraindications together. Because what happens, you go today, like that happened to my mom, that's why we did this with her. She goes to the kidney specialist, then to the heart specialist, to the lung specialist, then to the general practitioner. They're all giving her things, and there's no real control. And when we did this test, Kathy called me right away. She said, normally I wait, but I have to tell you right now, she's taking two things that are actually dangerous. And that test showed us, right? Yeah. And she'll go into details about that. And so we were right away able to call the doctor and say, wait a minute, there's something wrong here. You need to look at her medication. This test gives you alternatives. So it's not saying don't take medication. It's saying, no, take but what you can absorb.
Well, let me ask a question. Go ahead, Wanda.
And taking the right medications,
exactly.
the right time, and
the right amount, and the things that don't contraindicate each other.
Well, let me ask you a question. My mother, may she rest in peace, at one time I went to Costco to pick up a med. And he said to me, I can't give your mother this med because she's taking this. And they don't talk to one another. There was no centralized system at the time.
Yep.
But I want to touch on the aspect that you go to 25 doctors, right? And now, if you're their age, that's one thing.
Right.
You're my age, it's another thing, right? If you don't think there's something going to be going on with me after 57 years, 25 doctors are going to find one thing.
Sure.
I don't care if it's an aspirin. I don't care if it's name a pill.
Viagra.
Okay. No,
Oh, that was funny.
that's just such a low blow.
Sorry, drop the mic. Come on.
That's.
I just went with it.
It's a good thing she's a silent, quiet one. But I'm just saying, you're going. So they instantly got everybody turning red here, so including me. So you got everybody is going to a doctor because of fear. What are you laughing at?
They're in their
of
20s. They can laugh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Because of fear. So you're doing things reactively because of fear. So all of a sudden, I've talked to people about laser. It lasts 20. It's like going to church. It lasts 24 hours, and all of a sudden it evaporates, and you got to come back to it, and you got to stick to it. So I heard a little bit about what you do, but it's this fear factor that's going on. It's like people not wanting to go to the gym to work out.
Right.
They want a pill. Can you
They
give
want
me a
the
pill?
fast cure.
Give me a pill. If I grow muscles and you give me a pill, I'll pay you.
But I like what she said earlier. I mean, she focused on, like, basically if you can change the person's thoughts and get into the emotions of what's causing it, the person can heal themselves. And that's an important aspect of think of what you're
And get
talking
away
about.
from pills.
Mind, body, medicine.
Yes.
And get away from medication.
Right.
You bet. Because medications are temporary Band-Aids. And yes, some people need them. If I have an infection that's going on for a long time, yeah, I'll take the antibiotic. But then I work to rebuild my immune system, manage
Correct.
my stress.
Yep. And we always like to differentiate between acute and severe pain. So, and I'm always here, really, I want to support the medical field because they're amazing. I mean, they do such amazing things. I always say, if we have a car accident, our laser is going to do nothing. You need the medical
You
field
need a
to
stitch
help.
in your
You
heart,
need-
yes.
Exactly. You have a heart attack, you have a stroke, all that is fabulous. Thank you for
For
being
great
out
surgeons.
there for us. Exactly. Thank you for doing that. But I always talk about the chronic illness, when you have had just an illness and you don't know what it is. And that's where we step in. Basically, we look at things a little differently. We look at fungus. You cannot believe how many people have mold in their house and they don't know. And as soon as a young girl comes in and she's losing her hair, I'm saying, well,
'Cause of
let's
fungus?
check. Yeah, as soon as you start losing hair, it's not always hormonal. When you're very young, it's mold. And
In
Did you
Florida,
know
a lot of the homes have mold.
and in Florida,
So
a
wait
lot
a
of
minute.
mold.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
I don't think that's the excuse you
You
can use.
shush. I don't know what you're going to say next. So you can have fungus, not know it, and lose your hair.
Absolutely. And we live in Florida. So there is mold everywhere, even if you don't have mold in your house, but you maybe go to restaurants and you're sitting under a vent,
Yeah.
or the shower could have mold. You could have mold on the base. So I actually I'm a certified mold inspector
Are
Top
you?
of all of it.
on top of that. And the reason
Gonna
why
have to
I
have
did
her over
this,
for dinner.
well, the
Yeah,
reason,
not for nothing, but I'm underneath your air vent.
Yes, but look, the reason why I did that was just to educate myself, to actually understand when somebody comes in, what are the symptoms that they could have,
Okay.
and then ask them, okay, go home, knock on the base of your kitchen, of your bathroom, see if there's anything black growing. It could be behind, it could be under the carpet, and we don't even realize that in the vent of your closet. So that's just why I became that, because I wanted to educate myself to know, to help people to find it.
What are the other symptoms that besides the hair loss?
Is extreme fatigue. Extreme fatigue, and if you have a pet, when you're in a very, very moldy environment, your pets will get very sick before you do.
Like what kind of sickness?
Their hair will fall out.
And they
will
throw
get
up all over the
rashes.
place.
They can throw up. They actually die. Unfortunately, some pets have died.
Yeah.
And then when you start getting fogginess, headache, and hair loss, and you just don't feel well, and you come home and you're exhausted, then that's usually an issue.
Manuel has
So it
that
looks like
problem.
Candida.
Oh, yeah.
What?
It's like
Candida.
mold.
Looks
mold
like
is
Candida.
just candida. Mold is
Yeah.
candida in your stomach.
Same symptoms.
Hey.
So that's a thing. So that if you need to check if you have mold. If you don't have mold, you could have parasites. Parasites cause unbelievable amount. I know this is terrible, right? It's just like.
But if you eat a lot of meat.
You want to know what you have. But parasites can actually cause depression and anxiety. So you have a parasite, and let's say we have these kids. They have anxiety and depression. They're being put on all these medication when at the root cause is a parasite.
Because it's robbing all their minerals and nutrients.
Yes, exactly.
So from now on, when I tell you guys you have parasites, you understand why I'm saying it, right?
yeah, well,
That's another show. This is really interesting. I would love to have this conversation in front of my FAU doctors.
Love to. I
Because
love it.
you know what they do? They give you a pill. This is, you take a little of this, you take a little of that, and you'll be okay. That isn't true.
No.
And I was going to ask pain tolerance, inflammation. to me, is the kick of all of this. I wake up inflamed, and then I start moving, less inflammation, go to bed, I wake up again inflamed. Where the hell is it coming from? Why does it keep coming back?
Karma.
Karma.
First I
I
get
think
Viagra,
Freddie has
and
good.
I have karma.
I think Freddie has good karma.
Yeah, no, I'm just teasing. I think that the thing is that there's a lot of things we don't know, and I think you're more apt to hear a doctor say, "Well, let's try this and see if this helps." They're acknowledging that if it's what they think it is, and this pill is designed to help with that, then it may help you. If it turns out it's not what we think it is, it might be something else.
It might kill you.
Well, hopefully not. But what happens is genetically we're all different. So, for example, a statin, pills that you take for lowering your cholesterol.
Yeah, let's talk about statins.
Okay, so let's talk about
Let's
statins.
talk
So,
about that.
changing your diet, changing your exercise is a far more effective way of not only lowering your cholesterol, but also addressing the inflammation. That in fact, some studies are showing now that the statins, that's really what the statins are doing for the people who have inflammation. If you have high cholesterol and no inflammation, they may be a lot less useful to you.
So is the inflammation part of the cholesterol or the other way around?
No. They were designed for cholesterol. It turns out, you know those drugs where they were designed to do one thing and it turned out they grew hair? You know, they
I
were
have no
designed
idea,
to do
but
one
okay.
thing, but they, we'll talk later. They're designed
I can grow my hair back?
no,
Oh. Not that
Okay,
I
well, that
want
was
it,
a
but
hard no.
to make you feel a little bit more comfortable, my maiden name in Italian means bald woman.
really?
Yes.
But you're not bald.
Not so far. But it was worrisome right after having, I have children, and, right after giving birth, your
Yep,
hair
your hair
starts
falls
falling out,
out.
and I
Yep.
gotta tell you, I was worried.
I mean, women can go bald too, right?
Of course.
I mean, it happens.
Apparently what my great-great-grandmother
changes.
did is my point. But the main thing that I want to say is that not everything works for everyone. In fact, one of the executives at GlaxoSmithKline, which is one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world, stated at an international conference that 90% of drugs don't work for 30 to 50% of the people taking them.
That's
Wow,
tremendous.
that's a powerful statement
All right.
from GSK.
And 97% of us have a genetic variant that makes at least one drug not work. I have 15 variants that affect 82 drugs. We have people in our database that have 15 variants, but they're different variant combinations than I have, and it affects 240 drugs.
Okay, so why don't you tell us what you do now that we have this variances? I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack any minute. She's going to take my blood and say, Freddie, just hang it up. Where's dignity when you need him? Tell us what you do.
All right, well, because of personal experience in my life, I've been in healthcare my whole career, but I had a series of events where somebody really important to me or my family's lives has had a really bad reaction to a drug. The first time it happened was my son's high school girlfriend died from a reaction to Tylenol.
To Tylenol.
Tylenol. And there's been a lot of studies about Tylenol affecting liver and traumatic liver reactions, and actually is one of the main, not Tylenol itself, but medication reactions. There's like 24 medications that can negatively impact the liver to the point of needing a liver transplant.
So you're taking Tylenol with another pill? Is that the problem?
This girl went to her very first high school kegger, and everyone said, when you go to bed, take a couple of Tylenol so you won't have a hangover in the morning. Now, I don't know.
She drank heavily. You're taking them every morning. I mean, think about it.
I will tell you that when I was in college, that was the rule of thumb. Everyone did that.
Took a Tylenol.
Took more than one before you went to bed, so you wouldn't have as bad a hangover in the morning. This particular girl was vulnerable, And she was dead the next day.
But this is because
Wow.
of her makeup,
This is because of her individual makeup.
which is different from
It's
everybody
not for
else's.
everybody. I took Tylenol after drinking for 4 years of college.
And when you're pregnant, they say Tylenol versus ibuprofen. It's supposed to be more benign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At
Well, I
least they
wanna-
did when I was pregnant. I can't speak to that
I wanna
advice
ask you-
today. I don't know.
Yeah.
I want
10
to
years
ask
ago,
you about
so- yeah.
ibuprofen because I got a question. Which is better for you, ibuprofen or Tylenol?
Depends on your genetics.
And that's what we're going to get into. The other thing is Alonzo Mourning. You guys know Alonzo Mourning from the Miami Heat basketball team, right? Guys know who he is? You know what basketball is?
Let's start with
Manuel
basics.
was like, no. He was an all-star center for the Miami Heat. Almost died because of ibuprofen.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it was,
Well, 128,000 people in America die every day because of an adverse reaction to medication. So give you an idea, that's 3 times as many people as die from breast cancer.
Wow.
really?
And we don't have a ribbon for this. I want one. It's also the equivalent of a 747 crashing every day.
Wow.
That's how many people die from an adverse drug reaction that is identified as an adverse drug reaction and reported or found in autopsy. So after my son's friend, a few years later, my husband was giving a drug, and it was part of the evidence-based standard treatment protocol that Center of Excellence always give after open heart surgery. The doctor who prescribed it to him was the top surgeon. My background is quality healthcare and finding quality, identifying it and promoting it. So I picked the right surgeon, right? He prescribed the standard treatment protocol, which included 8 medications. My husband had a very severe reaction, rushed back to the hospital after he'd been discharged with, put into ICU. They told me to call my kids
Really?
to have them come see their dad. And so I started doing the research and I identified the drug that I thought was the problem. And I went to the surgeon. I said, I want you to take him off this drug. And he
What
said,
was it?
amiodarone.
What was that for?
It's common at post-heart surgery drug.
It's a common drug.
It's a very common drug. However, it has an FDA black box warning that warns you of this particular reaction my husband had. So it's known. Just because it's FDA approved
Doesn't mean that it's
doesn't
for
mean
you.
that it's going to be safe for everyone. It is.
Okay.
This doctor in his entire career had never had a patient. He'd been a surgeon for 12 years.
Right.
He'd never had a patient have that reaction. So he didn't recognize it when it happened.
Okay, hold on. So
Okay?
tell us
So
what
it's-
what
But let's
you do.
define rare. It was a rare reaction,
It is a rare reaction.
but it's 128,000 people every year. That's 350
Which isn't-
people
it
every
isn't
day.
too rare, but I want people to
Define rare.
understand, because I know you did the research, but you do something specific so that we can all now
Sure.
enjoy
You get
what
a
you do.
kit at home, and you swab your cheek, just a cheek swab, get some cells out of the inside of your cheek, put it back in the tube, and you mail it to us. And we do the genetic test, and then we give you on your phone. You get an app, so that anytime a doctor suggests a drug to you, or anytime you're in the drugstore and you're buying an over-the-counter drug, which we got to remember, these are prescription drugs that were deemed safe enough to now
Right.
no longer need a prescription, but they're still a drug.
Right.
And you put the name of the drug in the app, and it automatically tells you instantly whether or not it's good for you genetically, and whether or not it's safe to take the other medications you're taking. So we have a customer in our database who was so happy and so relieved to find out that the chemotherapy that doesn't work for about half the people, and that's acknowledged, and the oncologist says, hey, this doesn't work for half the people, but it's the only thing we have for you, and let's try it. She was so thrilled to find out it was good for her, that she was going to react normally to it.
Is there a
Right.
certain time of day that you need to swab your cheek? Does
No.
it matter?
No, as long as it's not within 30 minutes of you eating a bagel or a cookie or or having a cigar or whatever. So you just can't have anything in your mouth for 30 minutes.
Now, if you have this exam done, it comes back, and 30 days later you pick up smoking, it changes the results of what's going on? Or?
No. It's just that if you have things in your mouth that it can interfere, the swab could pick up a piece of food.
So it's contaminated.
It's just contaminating but your genetics don't change.
So this,
Unless if you've had a liver, colon, or kidney transplant, then it's not going to be right for you because it can be confused.
Okay.
But absent that, we can tell you. Now, I want to tell you one more thing about this lady. About a week after she started the chemo, she started having heartburn, which is a common side effect, right? So her doctor prescribed a proton pump inhibitor so that she wouldn't have to deal with the heartburn. She pulled out her app, she put it in, and she found out that heartburn medicine made her chemo not work.
Oh my God, it was that powerful.
It was an inhibitor of that chemo. So, but it gave her alternatives that she could take. So she still addressed her heartburn without impacting her chemo.
She found the right alternative.
This is really common. It's what happened with your mom, and we find it often. And it's because some people get some of their medicines through the mail, and other people get their medicine from Walmart, and then they change and go start using CVS or Walgreens. That's not always picked up. It's really common. And then we also tell you whether or not you can eat food with it, drink with it. I mean, okay, so let's talk about Adderall, ADHD, okay? It makes you not pass out if you drink. And so you look at all the alcohol poisoning that all of a sudden is a problem on college campuses. When I was in college, guy drank too much, he passed out.
So you're saying they're wide awake, so they keep drinking?
They don't pass out. They don't have that natural defense.
the body doesn't shut down, so you stop drinking.
Right.
All of a sudden, you drown in your own drink.
Yeah. It's and most people don't know that.
I would have
we
loved.
alert you to that.
I would have loved to see the doctor's reaction when she showed him the report. He says, "I'm not doing this because." I would have loved to see his face drop, because a lot of doctors, when you go in there, like I was given a drug for my neuropathy, and people told me not to take it, and I spoke to enough people as to why, and I tried it anyway, and I knew right away why I didn't want to take it. Did it take and mask the pain? Absolutely. Did I crave it, or after you come off it, did it hurt worse? Absolutely.
Yeah, the rebound.
That's right. So I didn't take it. I still have 28 pills there, and I hold it up as a reminder that you got to be aware of what you're taking in. This test should be given to every human being on the planet.
Every baby born should have
This
this.
is
right?
ridiculous. I'm going to come back to this over and over again, because if you don't have the test done, when I was in high school and college, I was given tetracycline, lots of it, and they
Me too.
destroyed my stomach, which then brought in anxiety, it brought in panic attacks, it brought in all sorts of things
Wow.
that I had to live with because I didn't have a defense system in my body. Now that I'm older, I've come to the realization junk in is junk out, but when you don't have a defense, you're under attack.
And, the other thing that this does for you, my mother had a brain hemorrhage from a drug that her test has since taken. This was before we had the test, but the test, she would have not taken it. She would have known not to take it. But when we did the test and took a look, she was on 12 pills.
Wow.
She's on 2 now. And it's what's known as the polypharmacy cascade. You take a pill, it causes your body to react a certain way. You take a pill for that.
And then you start treating the symptoms of the pills.
And then you take a pill for that. And it's well known in the medical industry. It's called polypharmacy cascade. And when you fix the 2 and make them right, you don't need
All
the others. My husband went from 11 to 3.
Oh, it's great. How accurate is your test?
Over 99%.
Okay.
It's ridiculous.
And the reason why I love this and why we've introduced this to Carmen Care, so basically all our patients can come here, get tested, we sign them up on a portal, and the reason why I love this is it has to go through your doctor. So one of their doctors has to be listed on their portal, and that doctor gets the report. So now we have somebody actually looking at this, controlling this, and somebody who can, and like you said, the patient themselves take this to each doctor that they go to and say, listen, these are all my medications. This is what I'm taking. He'll tell you take this, and she can look it up and say, nope, sorry, these are the options that you can give me. So we have to take our control back.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, it's really fabulous.
Two
Right,
things.
and we do a physician summary so that the physician knows what the considerations are, what we're concerned about. There's two kinds of information. One is what we call preemptive. Please don't give him this drug. This drug is dangerous for him for these reasons, and gives us specific reasons.
Right.
Or there's some evidence that suggests this drug may be a problem for him, but it's not as clear. So if you give him this drug, watch for these things. If they happen, then you'll know it's a drug. So many times, the polypharmacy cascade, they don't realize it's from another drug. They think it's a new symptom,
Yeah.
right?
That's right. And they give you another pill.
And they give you another pill.
All right.
I would also include the pharmacy on that. Like, have them take the test of their pharmacy so that they're aware too. Because sometimes, like he said, the pharmacist called his mother's issue.
They didn't know.
Sometimes they're really good about.
She used to play Russian roulette with 5 different pharmacies. So I used to say, Mom,
Right.
you're sending me to another pharmacist. Yeah, this is where you get this one. So they didn't know that
Well,
each
and
one
you know
was
what?
doing
It's
what they-
it's getting more complex because there's all these wonderful apps that I applaud, where you can put in the name of your drug. So, for example, I take one pill. It's called Synthroid. It's for thyroid disease. It's hereditary, and I have. I shouldn't say it. It runs in the family, and it runs in lots of families in the Great Lakes region. But that drug costs anywhere from $8 to $37 on any given day, depending on where I pick it up.
Yep.
Right? And so for people on a budget, it makes tremendous sense to get your Synthroid at Walmart and your statin at Walgreens. I
Yes.
mean, it can make a great deal of difference. And a lot of people, especially seniors, on a budget. And even if you have the money, that's not where you want to spend it.
Right.
And if you don't need to take, I mean, you need it in this case, but there's a lot of other things that you don't need to take. And there's
Right.
generics, and we're going to talk about that as well. We're going to take a commercial break. Let's do Rack A. When we come back, again, write in your questions and we will answer them. But this is phenomenal.
Isn't this
This should
fabulous?
be
Yeah.
this should
Everybody
be
should have
given
this.
to
Yeah.
everybody.
Yes, I
You're
agree.
born, boom, have
That's
this
why
done.
we brought this company in, and Kathy is amazing. So she has such a huge knowledge.
That scared me. All right, so we're going to take a break. We'll be right back after these words.
At Carmen Care Advanced Laser Therapy, our professional team specializes in finding the best alternative laser therapy treatments for your painful conditions. Do you suffer with chronic pain, a post-traumatic injury, or simply looking for the benefits of cell rejuvenation to the skin? Schedule a consultation today to understand how photobiomodulation can help reduce your symptoms, reduce or even eliminate pain. Give us a call today, 561-405-9577. We focus on treating you who has a disease, not a disease that defines who you are. Contact Carmen Care Laser Therapy today, 561-405-9577 or carmencarelaser.com.
Sexy, seductive, and beautiful. Looking for a professional and talented photographer? Danielle Boujon specializes in capturing flirtatious and tasteful images for yourself or your partner. Located in South Florida, Danielle really knows how to bring out your inner beauty on a shoot. Visit her website at www.daniellebuljan.com or call her at 561-305-2241 to capture your most desirable moments.
Farrow Law Firm, standing up to corporate bullies, using innovative, aggressive, and effective strategies to resolve disputes effectively and timely. Contact us at 954-252-9818, online at farrowlawfirm.com, and on Facebook at Farrow Law Firm. We look forward to being of service to you.
Thank you for watching the Brooklyn Cafe, where every day is a new adventure. If you'd like to join Dawn and Freddie S. at the cafe, give them a call at 888-565-1470 toll free. Come on in for a cup of coffee or call to share a thought for the day and get all the information you need to help your business grow. Don't forget, sharing is caring, and to like this video,
And we're back.
We're back.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
You
How are
having fun?
I'm having a great time. Thanks for inviting me.
I want to thank our hosts. We're here at Carmen Laser.
Carmen Care Laser, yep.
Carmen Care Laser. Didn't you change the name?
Well, I did. It's so confusing.
Yeah, you're confusing me. What's the new name?
I don't know. It's just Carmen Care. I think at the end, that's just what it's going to be.
And
Because
I
we do
called
so
you-
many things.
Yeah,
I called
don't
you
limit
Carmen
yourself.
for almost a year.
And I listen to Carmen. I'm
And she
very
never
obedient.
said boo.
I don't say
She
boo.
looks like a Carmen.
Everybody
She
calls
does,
me
una Carmen,
Carmen.
¿verdad?
Yeah.
Parece Carmen. You look like a Carmen. And then she didn't say nothing to me, so Dawn once says, that's not her name.
I wanted to call you Carmen too.
Please do. I don't care.
It is her name, though, right?
Yeah, it's the last name. You know, if I may just add something from our previous segment,
Yes.
that is really, really important because I'm that's why I'm doing this parallel profiling because it's life changing for people. So if you're out there saying, well, I don't take medication, so this isn't for me. What happens if you have a car accident or any kind of tragic accident? You're, hiking or on a boat or something, and you get brought to the emergency room, and now you're passed out, and they need to give you something, and they give you the wrong medication. You can die on the table there.
Yes.
If you would have had this done, you have an emergency card that you carry next to your ID, and they'll pull that up and they'll see, do not give this, do not give that, allergic to this, allergic to that, and that can save your life.
Do they do it on a bracelet as well, like they do for
No,
diabetics?
not a
and-
bracelet, but you have like a little card that they give you. And
Okay.
then obviously your family members would say, wait a second, because you'll know then, your family members will know it'll be, it could be in your card or in your passport or wherever you're going, and then at least they can find
I'm going to
that
have
out.
a chip created.
Yes.
Put a chip in your wrist.
Be careful with those chips.
Put a chip in your wrist, so if you need medical information, go like this and it's done.
It's happening. It's going to happen.
There's a company that
already
does
out there.
tattoos. Have you seen that? They do tattoos, and you put your arm on a Moby Pop told us about this,
Oh,
and they have all your information. One of the problems they have with this mechanism in your heart that they put when they do open heart
Pacemaker?
surgery. No, it's a chip.
Oh, a chip.
So if you're having a heart attack or something's going on,
Yep.
this happened with a guy I knew, and his doctor was in Spain, and the doctor called him from his vacation and says, I need you to run to the hospital. And the guy says, what are you talking about? Feeling good. I need you to run to the hospital now. And he ran
Wow.
to the hospital and he had a stroke.
Isn't that fabulous?
But they stopped
Wild.
doing it because the chip wasn't secure enough and you could steal all the person's information. So they stopped it. This was with one of the big medical things about 5 years ago.
I could see the pros and the cons with that.
Sure.
I don't like my information being scanned and
That's the problem.
implanted in me.
You can't even buy gasoline without them stealing your debit card.
Exactly.
What the hell's going on here?
Make sure it's real.
But I gotta tell you, this thing, I feel like we should get 100 kids, go to every
Absolutely.
freaking doctor and
Yep.
say, you need to do this.
You need to. Absolutely.
And your husband is a doctor? Yes? And he's talking to our friend, our new friend. But anyway, we move on. Because if you
We
let
move
me
on.
go, I sort of lose my thoughts. This section of the show is brought to you by
hempboca.com, and New Dawn Media. Let your voice be heard. 866-224-5422.
She's good. I got nothing to say. I couldn't come. I still
I was
thinking
just
about
happy
that.
I got the numbers right.
I'm just thinking about the Viagra joke. But anyway, we move on to section 2. And who do we have?
So we have Tatiana here. She's been a long life friend of mine.
Past life, too.
Yes, past life too.
We got the
And,
same thing going on.
Yes, all
Oh,
right.
you
we
do
both
past
dis-
lives too.
Yes,
Yes.
we both discovered we were Buddhist friends.
Yes.
How do you know that?
It was a feeling, and then somebody had told me that I was a Buddhist in a past life, and then I actually mentioned that to Tatiana, and she said as well. And the minute we said that, it kind of just connected, and we were like,
Yes.
and we nearly like cried,
And
right,
it
and
was,
embraced
yes.
ourselves. And
You
said,
cried.
Well, you know us
With
women.
joy.
They laughed,
With
they
joy.
cried, they embraced.
A lot
It
of
was
crying
like I
going
got
on.
very emotional. I was like, oh my goodness, it's just a feeling that you just have. So
It's like we both had it. We both had that knowing without really saying anything. And then once she said something about cutting her hair, I said, me too. And then we started
Yeah, we started
talking
talking about
But
that,
I
and-
attended a book club, and
Oh, yes. I attended a book club, and they said there's someone else actually in the book club, but she's away. For some reason, I had this feeling it was someone I knew, and I couldn't wait for her to come back. And the moment she came back on the next meeting we had, it was just, like she said, it was just a feeling like we've known each other forever. And after that, it's like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And so Tatiana does a lot of wonderful things with hypnosis and breath work. She's guided me through.
You do hypnosis.
Yep.
Yes. I
You
do
hypnotized Freddie?
hypnosis.
And the breath work.
Don't say the magic word because I turned into a chicken. Listen, I have a client for you.
Yes, sir.
Do you help people stop smoking?
Yes.
Okay, I have a client.
Okay.
I'm going to give you the number off the set.
Okay,
And Doc, I got you covered because he was asking me, do I know somebody to use hypnosis to help him cure his smoking ability?
Yes, I can definitely guide him and help him.
And
Really?
the good thing is why it's so fabulous that we work together. We have a laser that helps with the non-smoking. We actually have a product that is guaranteed money back. You will stop smoking.
Are you serious?
It's a product that guarantees.
Yes, it's a 1 week product. You take it combined with the therapy and combined with the laser. So we do those three things. I always kind of believe in three things, and then you
a
do that,
magical
and it's
number.
and it's guaranteed you stop smoking, or you just come back and we
How
treat you
come
till
I
you
never
do.
knew that?
It's that's the development of Carmen Care, right? We're getting more and more.
But
and
you
more.
never. You should send me a text and say, Freddie, I got this. You know how many people want to quit smoking?
Great, bring 'em in.
Did you see what's going on? And again, don't write to me. You want to do what you want to do it. What's going on with vaping?
Oh, yes.
Did you
That's
see this morning the
scary.
kid that had the
That's
2 lungs replaced?
Just scary.
Yeah,
You know,
I
it's,
knew that was-
it's better to just use your own power, your internal power, through hypnotherapy, through breath work, through NLP, through laser. It's better to empower yourself to have the power to quit instead of taking this stuff. I mean, who
The
knew?
vaping is just a substitute. It's
Who
not
knows?
really
Yes.
It sounds like you'd be better off smoking cigarettes.
exactly. Well, the popcorn lungs and things
Well,
like
they're
that that you
putting
get.
junk into the vaping. It's not making any sense. Now, does anybody here know who Kojak was?
Yes, I have an
I know
autograph
you know.
from him.
I know you know him.
How do you know?
Because you're a Buddha, and I know. Any of you guys know who Kojak is? Well, let me tell you, the problem with vaping is this age group. Because everybody's substituting, thinking it's okay to do that because it's better than cigarettes. It's not. Bad in means bad in. Kojak stopped smoking by sucking on lollipops.
That's right.
Remember that?
Yep.
He got a big contract with how many licks does it take to get to the middle of a Tootsie Roll? Right? He got $1 million contract in the day because that's all he did was suck on lollipops to quit smoking.
How many cavities did he get?
I don't know.
And sugar.
I don't know. He was a
That's the other thing, right?
diabetic and he had no teeth and he was bald. So other than that, he was great.
Most people fear gaining
loved
weight
him.
when they stop smoking because they're going to put
Yeah.
something in their mouth, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's a power of suggestion. So
right.
he actually gave himself, or somebody gave him the suggestion, and he accepted it, obviously, that he's going to replace one habit with another.
Another.
But when I help people to quit smoking, I like to give them a habit that actually is good for them.
Now, are you able to, this is fascinating. You guys want to be in the time? Are you able?
Sunflower seeds, right? To stop chewing.
Yes, and tobacco
Well,
in the baseball league.
Yeah.
It's just another substitute.
Now, do
It's,
you hypnotize everybody?
I hypnotize anybody who wants to be hypnotized.
So you have to want to be.
Yes, definitely. Unlike what they show in movies and stuff, I cannot hypnotize any of you to give me your ATM card so I can take all your money.
Is it true you can go into prior lives and talk about?
Oh, that's what we did.
Yes, and I've personally gone to a past life myself, and
Myself,
Leslie
yeah.
went
You
to a past
hypnotized her?
life.
With the breath work. Yes.
Yes, because you can. Breath work is very, very powerful. It's a technique. It takes a little bit to learn and get used to it. Some people can pick it up right away. Some people take a session or two. It's not that difficult. But through the breath work, one can go into a deep trance, a deep state of relaxation. They can go into a past life. And that's why we do 10 session series, because each session is so different. You're going through layers and layers of whatever emotional healing that you need. And also it takes a little bit to learn it and get comfortable with it. And each session is different. When a person does a 10 session, they could go to a past life, they can go to somewhere in the present life.
I think the common misconception is that when you're hypnotized, you go to a state of like where you're up for grabs, you're powerless, when it's really just a deep meditative state?
Exactly. It's actually opposite of that. It is a more awareness. It's because we're so unaware most of our wake time. Our mind is constantly in the past or the future, and we're actually imagining a lot of things. Like if something happened in the past, we could keep imagining that's going to happen again. So we're actually in a trance in a way. So through hypnosis or NLP or breath work, you become more aware and more awake in a way. So that's why a person who is in a trance or a deep state of meditation or relaxation, it's easy for them to remember things. It's easy for them to remember, oh yeah, I was 5 years old. Here I'm playing with my mom and dad at the beach, and I'm wearing this dress. And they can really remember everything. And they can remember if the emotional, the physical issue they had was present at the time. If it wasn't, I guide them going forward and see when it happens, or guide them back. So a person can either go back to a past life, or they can go back in a womb. I basically go with the person where they go. I don't say, well, your issue is in the past life, we're going to go there.
Right.
No. I go where they go, and that's where I help them do the healing.
I mean, the mind is like a computer, and all you're doing is opening a pathway to remember things that you sort of put away, no?
Exactly. It's your hard drive. You remember everything.
Exactly.
It's like when you developed an allergy, someone developed an allergy to gluten or dairy. It's like it might have been a parent screaming at them, "Don't spill the milk," and then from then on, they took on that emotion of, "Oh, I'm not tolerant to milk anymore."
That's German medicine, right?
Yeah.
Or actually, Nunaprid's allergy elimination techniques, NAT. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yes.
That's what they take you back.
Or it could be that you meet somebody with blonde hair and you begin to feel like really because it has something in your deep-rooted past. It brings it up.
Some blonde woman.
There's
with
a lot of blondes you got to avoid, right? That's 50% of the population.
Actually, one of my first subject with allergy, I was practicing on the poor guy. I was still in school. He had allergy to blue cheese. And when I practiced on him, he went back being very young. At the time I worked with him, he was in his 40s. He went back to being very young, his first girlfriend, and he took her out for a beautiful dinner, and they were right on the salad course with blue cheese on top, that he proposed to her, and she actually told him that she was not in love with him.
Oh, wow.
Because of the blue cheese.
Yeah.
That would do it.
So
Lesson learned, don't eat blue cheese.
he didn't have the allergy immediately, but it built up. So what happened, without consciously not being aware of it, every time he ate blue fish,
Blue feet too.
Anything blue.
blue cheese.
She's hypnotized.
I'm
Blue feet.
hypnotized already.
If your feet are blue, don't get married.
So it actually ignited that deep emotion of sadness and rejection. So eventually, slowly, he developed allergy to blue cheese. So once we worked on him knowing where that's coming from and help him heal that memory, then he did eat blue cheese a little bit at a time, and he realized that he did not have the same reaction.
How many layers did you have to go through? Like, how long did it take him to...
It's really different for each person. It really is. Some people with 1 or 2 sessions, and then of course there's muscle memory too to get over. For some other people, it takes a little bit longer.
And when you say muscle memory, like the fact that they have to get over the fact that it's in their form, that our mind has to accept that our brain can heal us, and that there's a real...
We have a reaction to it. So if, say, for 20, 30 years, he looked at blue cheese and he's like, I can't eat that.
Right.
The body was so automatic in that. So just that is like, oh, okay, let me calm down.
So how do you work with this technology?
So that third T that I was saying about the the thoughts, right? I have Tatiana. She's so fabulous. She'll be in with the consultation that we have, and then we understand where could this pain be coming from. So we go through this together, and then Tatiana will decide with the patient what is the best. Breath work. Do you believe in past life? If somebody doesn't believe in past life, we don't go there. There's no point. If somebody believes in hypnosis, great, let's do that. Or NLP, reprogramming. So we talk about it, and really behind anybody who's severely sick, there is always an emotional component. You know, with trigeminal neuralgia, like what Lee had, you know, many times you don't want to speak the truth. You don't want to say what's on your mind, or you something like that. Or maybe people who are obese, they usually are hiding behind that. They've usually been abused in some shape or form. So you can't really just address the weight loss. You have to really address the emotional as well, because otherwise you're just going to keep losing weight, gaining it, because you still don't have that self-love.
And they also have to be ready to hear it.
Exactly.
And this, all of this is tied up to your past, yes?
Absolutely.
Or past lives. I mean, it depends on how deep you want to get to.
Exactly.
It's definitely past. Yes, it could be at 2 years old. It could be at 5 years old. Usually is majority of people go back to about 7, 8 years old. That's where it usually happens.
It's the turning point.
Why is that so critical?
Yes. Because that's when the conscious level is not developed enough, so the subconscious level is really exposed. That's why children, whatever you tell a child, they believe it so easily, so it becomes part of their belief. So that's when everything's going right into the subconscious level. And then after that, we start developing the conscious level more. That's where the learning is. So we learn, well, don't believe this, don't believe that. Oh, I don't know if he, you know, it becomes our critical faculty, our judgmental part of our conscious. It's like, is that really true? I don't believe that. So we can actually judge and decide for ourselves. But when we're really young, whatever we're told, we take it in.
Now, is this a learned trait, or were you born with this trait?
No, I definitely learned this. I went to school. For me, it comes very easy. It just, I feel like a lot of things I hear, it's like I knew it at some level.
So you're just doing something you learned that you were born with, actually.
I guess I could say I was
She was
born
actually an
with
engineer.
I was an engineer before
Yeah,
this.
she's
And are you married?
Yes, I'm married.
And this must be a pip. And you have children?
No, I don't have children.
But you're married. Okay,
I'm
so
married.
when you go home and your husband, if he's going through all this stuff, you probably know it before he does.
No, I can't say I know it before he does. I don't want to say I know everything. I'm intuitive and all of that. You know, there are things that I feel like, oh, I kind of knew that. I think we all have that. Some of us are stronger in it than others. So one of the things I definitely make sure I don't do is I don't say, oh, I know what this is about. I like to really open myself up to listening to my client and see what they have to say. Like Leslie said, there is a bit of a guideline, like if the person is overweight, it's this. If the person's stuttering, is that. But I try to put that aside and really listen to the person I'm working with.
I hear you.
I want to hear them out and see, because it's not about what I believe they have, it's about what they believe they have. So if I don't help them at what they believe they have, then I'm not helping them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and
Isn't she great?
she's great. I work with.
Scares the hell out of me.
I was going to say I work with clients as well, and I think the biggest thing is knowing when to kind of step over the boundary a little bit with them and when you can't, because it's what we were talking about earlier about when they're ready to hear it and when they're not. That can be tough as a practitioner, right?
Very tough. That is one area that sometimes I'm not able to help the person, because if they're not open to hearing it, to me is not blaming myself, but saying I allowed this to happen, or I chose to believe this, so I have a power to change my mind. Yeah. But if a person says, no, it's not me, they did it to me, and they're not willing to take that, they're not willing to hear it, then it's very hard to help that person. That's when it takes several sessions to work with them, because first I have to help them realize they have the power, and they allowed this to happen.
And we all have the power, yeah?
Yes.
Everybody.
Yeah. Yes.
Can you speak more about what NLP is and particularly how you help children?
Yes. NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, it's actually, children are great with this because they have, again, going back to they haven't developed a conscious mind, that judgmental part of the mind. So they're a lot easier to work with. And NLP, a lot of it is using your imagination. Because if I have a fear now, going back to that friend of mine had a allergy to cheese. It wasn't that the cheese was giving him that trauma at this moment. It was really in his imagination that he connected the cheese with the reaction physically he had. So with NLP, a lot of time we use the power of imagination, power of awareness first. So I feel fearful. Where do I feel that? So guiding them to really realize that, and using imagination, visualization, guiding them to reverse that. So children are really good at that. Children have a better, the playful, so it's not like silly to them. So they respond a lot better. Working with children is easy because you just tell them, well, especially if you know like what is their favorite game or a TV show or something they watch, use that and help them with that to gain power, to know that they can turn that fear around. That I work with children. They had one child pops in my head right now, fear of dark room. Okay. And when I played with her, it was so easy for her to remember. One day she woke up and mommy wasn't there. And that's where fear of darkness came. And then as I played with her and said, well, just let's move forward. Let's just walk in the room. And then she realized mommy was right there in the living room watching TV or whatever. And it just happened she woke up in the room and it was dark. And at that moment, she became fearful. It was so easy to help her. Yeah. And then, of course, when working with children, it's very important to work with the parents because you don't want the parents keeps giving the old suggestions. Like, for example, in this case, working with parents so they're not constantly saying, I know, honey, you're scared of darkness. Let me put a light on.
But they focus on fear.
Yes. So we don't want to keep telling the child, you're scared of darkness. We want to change the language. So working with parents is very important as you work with a child.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. All right, we're going to go to our next commercial break. Are we queued up? Yeah. We're queued up. Fascinating stuff.
Right, fascinating.
And I'm getting people writing into me. I want to talk to you off the set about the prior segment as well.
Sure.
But this can go into its own Twilight Zone.
You can have your own show just on this.
Right.
But you know something? Again, you have choice. You can either
Yes.
pick to do it or not pick to do it. But
Yeah.
the bottom line is if you have a track record that it works,
You do.
Why not try it?
why not try it? You got nothing to lose. But I already got Doc is calling me. I'm going to give him your number to see if you can help him.
It's great
stop
they're
smoking.
open to
Yeah.
alternative
Yeah.
methods.
I mean, he asked me, and he knew I was coming here. He wanted actually to come. He's a professor. He had to
Lovely.
teach. He had to teach them.
I'd love him to
But
meet
maybe
him.
you'll just start by him coming here,
Yeah.
and we'll go from there. All right, you ready to go to this break? All right, so we're going to be right back in 2 and 2, which is 4.
Got it. Thanks for the reminder.
Well, usually I go 2 and 2, and she says 4. Which is 4.
4.
All right, we're going to be right back, and again, keep your questions rolling on the Facebook page, and we will get to them as soon as we can.
Thank
We'll
you.
be right back.
The way you live your life says a lot about you. The way you choose to commemorate your lifetime can say even more. It's a single event that speaks volumes. So how do you celebrate a life? Dignity Memorial providers believe that your memorial service should be as unique as you are, reflecting your personality and your passions. It should be a perfectly tailored send-off, a fitting tribute for family and friends to celebrate the person they love. We're professionals at catering to your every need, right down to the catering. In fact, no detail is too small. So when it comes time for a fitting tribute, we'll see that your final wishes are beautifully fulfilled. It's what Dignity Memorial providers are known for. And why you should rely on us to see that your life is well celebrated. The celebration of a lifetime begins here.
Oka. Products of purest natural ingredients and providing a safe alternative method for relief from many symptoms, creating a healthier lifestyle without the use of opioids. Use hemp bokeh products for improved mental health and overall well-being. It's safe, legal, and non-psychoactive. Our pure and high-quality CBD is from clean industrial hemp, then extracted slowly over days to produce the strongest and most effective products on the market, made in the U.S. with no synthetic ingredients. Committed to bringing our customers the highest grade CBD oil on the market. Our industrial hemp, it's organic with no solvents and pesticides, gluten-free, vegan, full spectrum, and third-party double lab tested. Our top priority is your health and wellness, and we are confident you will love our products and the amazing relief so you can enjoy the things you love to do. Try our products and start living a healthier lifestyle. Hemp Boca. Good health and good sense are two of life's greatest blessings.
If a tree falls in the woods and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? Have you ever felt that your voice goes unheard? And you think that you can make a difference if only someone would just listen? It's time for women in business to have a place to step into your power, a platform to embrace your hopes, dreams, and your visions, a voice to heal and restore. Your voice can make a difference. We have the platform to share your story and let your voice be heard. Be kind to yourself. Give yourself the chance to be heard and shine bright. Contact New Dawn Media by texting CAFE to 80800. That's CAFE to 80800.
Cruise Planners, an American Express travel representative, has a tremendous reputation for quality, service, and very competitive pricing for all of your travel needs. As a Cruise Planners travel advisor, Paul Vadiano will help you discover exciting adventures around the world, from cruises to land tours and completely packaged vacations. Paul specializes in all types of travel and will create an unforgettable vacation, wedding, or event just for you. Find Paul at www.cruiseoptics.com, on Facebook, or by phone at 561-232-2626. We make your travel dreams come true.
Sometimes you need to shake things up a bit, to be a little adventurous, to make your meals pop. Don Pablo Coffee Growers and Roasters has that special ingredient. That little bit of adventure in a bottle to take your dinner to the next level. So take a leap and try one of Don Pablo's fresh roasted specialty coffee meat rubs on your beef, chicken, or pork. You'll never go back to boring again. Go ahead, rub it on your meat.
We're back.
You know what I like about doing this show?
What?
You never know what's going to be written.
It's true.
It's like a book with blank pages.
I like surprises.
For those of you who weren't watching in the first hour, so you missed a great deal. Rewind it so you can see it. But we are in the second set of what we're doing. We're here at Carmen Laser. You have Carmen's address?
I do have Carmen's address somewhere here. Let's see where we put it.
I put it
Where's
into Waze.
Where's Carmen's address?
Oh, I had it. Somebody took my cards.
Here. I have it right here.
Oh, thank you. 3301 Northwest 2nd Avenue, number 100. That's in Boca, Raton, Florida, just in case you didn't know. 33431.
I did that on purpose because I saw the card was missing.
Exactly.
What do you do?
We have a love-hate relationship, Freddie and I.
Yes. Viagra that. What?
Payback.
All right, move over. No, you stay there. She's talking to her. Stay there. Don't
Okay,
get out
I
of
thought I
focus
was-
because then you have to move all the cameras around.
Oh, okay.
How's that? We good? Yeah. All right, we're good to go.
We're here with Ann Shoshana.
You need this.
Ann is an educator, a speaker, a writer. What else do you do? You've got a lot of hats.
A lot of hats. I coach and I share universal wisdom. So people that can grow from good to better so we can heal the world because the world's all messed up.
Okay.
But in a good way, right?
Right. It's an opportunity, right?
It's opportunities, all opportunity. And that just kind of leads into the energy of the week. This week, we're going to talk about how to make friends with challenges.
Yeah, and to become better.
And how to become
But wait
better.
a minute,
through the
who has
process.
the, first of all, it's actually speaking with Anne.
Actually, Freddie?
Actually. Because when I met this woman, she kept saying actually,
So
and
everything's
actually, and actually. And your husband's here today.
Actually, he's here.
Offering some moral support, and he's a Pisces.
Yes, just like you.
Yes, me and you have a lot in common, but I don't know what it is. She says Pisces, and she ran out the room, actually.
Actually, Pisces are very nurturing, sensitive, emotional, caring, and healers. So you're spreading a great word here, Freddie.
You think so? I think you're
I-
spreading the word.
I think we're all spreading the word together. I
Is that
think
what it
that's
is?
the job. It's like it's a global thing going on right now. And together we can make a difference when we decide to be on our own and play Lone Ranger. I always say to my husband, don't be the lone wolf. It doesn't work. Right? I
Build
mean,
a community,
Does she
right?
really say that? She said that? Yeah.
Yes, don't be the lone wolf. So that's why building a community, doing this work together, spreading the word, very powerful for all of us.
And what words do you spread? What are you telling people?
Well, this week I want to talk about the energy of the week. What's really going on is we really need to understand the reality that challenges are here. They're here to stay. They're not going anywhere. And most people, unfortunately, want to take the easy way out. And what happens is whenever a challenge comes, that's it. We distract, we avoid, we run away,
We watch reality TV.
Well, that's some of that could be good. I'm not going to
Occasional
lie to you.
binge
Wait a
watching's
minute.
okay.
Wait a minute, I'm a little confused. Is the challenge the person you're trying to be friends with, or do you have challenges being friends with them? Is it a combination?
Well, it's not, it could be a challenge is anything. It could be a challenge with your emotions, that you're just
That
too
happens every day.
emotional and get reactive. The challenge could be with another human being. The challenge could be with a work situation. Challenges take many different forms, but they're the fuel to move us forward. Without challenges, I liken it to like a diamond in the rough, right? How do you create a diamond? It's a diamond
Pressure.
is created under pressure.
Yeah.
Deep in the earth, it's a piece of coal that's under pressure, tremendous amount of pressure, and it emerges a diamond. The problem is that we don't accept the reality that that's the way it is, and that we don't know. If we knew that we would emerge a diamond, then I think it would make it more palatable. We're never going to love challenges. We're never going to want to take them on. But if we could just make the little switch in our brain that look at them as an opportunity. Like there are two roads that we can, or two forks in the road that we can take. The one fork is, okay, I'm going to make this. First of all, you have to recognize that a challenge is even coming. How many times do bad things happen? Challenges come up, and we're just so on automatic pilot that we just go off. We get reactive. We're not even aware that we have a challenge facing us. So first thing is to stop and the awareness that this is a challenge and I have a choice. Most people think we don't have a choice, that we're just victims. But you do have a choice. But the only choice you have is how you react to the challenge.
And are you going to do it the same old way, or are you going to recognize a pattern and change it?
Correct.
Now, and then the message I also get is about fear. Fear will make you reactive. So if a challenge comes and your first thing is, what do they call that? Flight or fight?
Fight or flight.
Last week I told you you have a reptilian brain.
Do you know that 5
Wow.
people have said that to me from last Wednesday?
She's hitting below the belt, didn't she?
No, you hit below the belt, but that's a different show.
I called him an iguana.
Now everybody's talking about my reptilian brain, and you know what my nickname now is? Iggy.
Iggy.
That's cute.
Freddie the Iggy.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's what it is. It's like the first natural response is the old prehistoric response when the saber-toothed tiger was coming to get you. I mean, you just reacted. You didn't think. You didn't go, stop, pussycat. Don't attack me.
Well, I didn't talk like that either.
Yeah.
You talk like that? Nah. You didn't talk like that.
And I think that's why most people on the planet are walking around with some form of adrenal fatigue, and that's why they're exhausted in a fog most of the time, because we are in fight or flight so much.
So much. Exhausted.
Now, the last couple of weeks have been nothing but challenges in what we're doing. And you could look, they're a testimony to what's going on. Adam doesn't know what he's getting himself into. He's brand new to the show. But we have decided to stand our ground and fight.
You know, it's so, like, I can't even begin to tell you, like, I've been doing a lot of learning and talking to people. There's also a weekly energy, but there's also a monthly energy. And we've just entered into the month of Scorpio. Now, the energy of Scorpio, this is what you're feeling. You're feeling this intense internal pressure to manifest and create. I'm not telling you I'm some woohoo, astrologer or what have you. I'm pulling from universal wisdom that's talking about that there are ebbs and flows and there are certain energies available in the universe at certain times. And if you take advantage and you know of them, then you can use them to your advantage to work through so that you can grow. Because we weren't put here to be good. We were put here to be better, and that's why I wrote the book, Good to Better. Because if you're just here to take up space and to eat and run away from iguanas, then that's not life. Life are those moments where you accomplish something, where you put in the effort, like Freddie here with the show. I mean, this is a new chapter this coming month. You're building a new a studio, etc. So you're right in alignment with the energy of creation right now, because the past month was a month of planting seeds, a month of rebirth and renewal. Now, what happens when you're in the womb? It's a place of nurturing. It's a place of nourishment. It's a safe place. Now you're thrust out into the world, and now you're on your own. Now it's your time to create. And that's a lot of pressure.
Well, I have to ask you. And if anybody wants to write to Anne, the website is?
Anne Shoshana, D for divine, at gmail.com.
Spell the website.
Your name.
Spell it out.
My name is A-N-N-E, so it's Anne with an E. Shoshana is S-H-O-S-H-A-N-A, letter D for divine, at gmail.com.
And if you have questions and you don't want to write in or you don't want to call in and you want to speak to her directly, they can get you there.
Absolutely.
All right, so I have a question. I was told don't sign any contracts because we've entered into this thing called retrograde. And I don't know what the hell that means, because in my world of business, I can't put things off until the 20th.
I'm not an astrologer, but I'll just tell you.
Is that what it is, astrology?
Yeah. When people talk
I saw
about
the meteorite in Utah. Is that what they're talking about?
I don't know. I'm pretty practical, and I'm like down to earth. I will tell you, this month, if you did the work and you invested the proper time and energy and commitment, then go sign your contracts.
Right, because then if you weren't prepared, you should sit back. Because I call FPL. Is that who you pay your
Florida
lights to?
Power and Light?
Yeah, and I told him I can't pay you. He said, why? It's just because I'm in retrograde.
I'm sure they use that excuse,
I hung up the phone and turned on my light.
That only works when there's a hurricane.
But this is what I'm saying. Life doesn't stop for you to catch up.
Well, but that's why when we talk about certain energies or forces that are there, if you take advantage of them throughout the year, then you don't have to stop.
Gotcha.
You know, you just keep going and creating. Life is about creation. It's so, like I say, we live in a world gone crazy because we have a situation where there's challenge after challenge, and we're not trained how to deal with challenges. We live in a world now. I look at my son. Oh my God, this Fortnite and the computers and I just want to rip. I did rip it out of the wall once. Yeah. I ripped the Xbox right out of the wall, and I said, "Look,
that's reactive.
That's very reactive.
It's very reactive, and we don't react."
I wouldn't call myself an iguana, though. I was probably a crocodile at that time.
That's true. And the crocodile eats the iguana, but that's a whole different show. That's not cool. You know, you just took the bigger, higher road. Is that what you did?
I'm human. Okay.
She set boundaries at home. That's what she did.
I'm human. But I did sometimes it's okay to get reactive as long as inside, you know, you're calm, but you're doing it for effect. It's like when you have a baby who sticks their finger into the socket and you go over and smack him inside. You're not freaking. You're just like, you have to make a stand because they have to know you mean business. So I meant business about the Xbox. But yeah, these kids are they're totally medicating with technology.
Yeah.
Checking out.
But that's what we've created. Look at these guys. These guys, all they do is talk on their phones. I say to them, what's your name? They text it to me. They're sitting in a room talking to me through the phone.
Do you know that I don't want to embarrass my child, but I think he's got his head. His head goes down like this, and I think he's going to stay like that because all day he's looking down at his phone, and all day long I'm screaming at him, put your shoulders back. Right. Put your head up. Where are you walking in life? You're going to bash into things.
Well, we've definitely entered the ice age of humanity where we've lost the ability to have human contact.
Ice age of humanity.
Yeah,
that's
the ice
pretty
age of
good.
humanity.
Did they have iguanas back then?
Probably did.
Iguana dies in cold weather, by the way.
Something tells me she'd make it.
That's a good saying. Ice Age of Humanity. Can we
Actually, you
keep
know
that?
what? The iguana doesn't die. From what I understand, it sits there like in frozen animation and then just falls out of the tree on your head.
Well, years
But
ago
the-
when Florida had that storm, the ice thing came through. Remember the iguanas fell
They all
from the
fell
trees?
from
They
the
were
tree.
frozen. So I think they do freeze.
Okay.
At least in Florida.
I'm living proof. Anyway, but this is a good point. So you got to go for it. You got to stay balanced. And you can't be
there's-
afraid.
Well, I have a few tips to share,
Excellent.
if I may.
Yes.
So, tip number 1, when you feel that iguana brain coming on as a result of being faced with a challenge that you weren't expecting, that you didn't want, just, again, first thing is to stop, right? Just to figure out that this is a challenge, make the switch in your brain and say, stop. And choose to walk the path of, okay, I want to do this challenge, even though I'm terrified. I don't know what's coming. I don't want to do the work.
Or I have no choice.
I have no choice. So when we make the choice to do the work, to choose the challenge, then something miraculous and crazy happens. You are walking down a path and opening up a whole different set of possibilities that actually shorten the duration of the challenge and lessen the pain and severity.
Because you've surrendered.
Yes.
To the challenge.
Yes. And you ask for your partner in source, the universe, whatever you want to call it, help me get through this because I don't know what I'm doing. Can't do this on our own. So we need to have people around us, people that are on the same path as us, people that are reality checks. Am I a reality check for you, Freddie?
I'm mesmerized here. I was going to ask you, when people tell me all the time, I don't know what I'm doing, it sort of triggers me.
In what way?
Because I don't want to hear that. It's like people text me and they go, when I say, would you like to do something, they write the word sure. You got a glimpse of that today.
Yeah, do you love that?
I hate that. Do I ever ask you guys to give me one of two answers? It's either yes or no.
Right.
If you're going to make a stand, make a stand. Don't give me the flippy floppy and things happen, like the S word happens.
To me, sure is yes.
It's either yes.
I think it's a generational thing because sure to me is like, okay, like
That's
I'm
right.
not really committed to it. I'm not really into it.
It's like,
but
I'll do whatever you
it.
want me to do, but I
Right.
really don't want to. Don't give me
I'm
sure.
I'm with Freddie.
Don't give me sure. You give me yes or no. Are you in or you out?
So are you taking on this challenge or you're not taking on this challenge?
Are you pregnant or not? You can't be a little pregnant. That's I heard anyway.
I agree. I like that.
So I want you to be defining. And if it's no, I'm not in, then let's grow to yes.
Yeah.
Let's go in that direction.
But that's even hard. People don't want to commit. We live in a world where I find it so funny. It used to be where you would go out with a friend to a movie and you would make plans and you would just show up the theater, right?
Yep.
Now, 5 minutes before the movie starts,
They cancel.
I've changed my mind. Something better
What
came
is
up.
that?
What is that? I never heard of that in my life. It's like, what is it? FOMO? Is that what they call it? Something better comes along.
What's it called?
FOMO, the fear of missing out.
You know that?
Am I?
You guys know football?
Is that a generational thing?
I think.
Well, it's used.
The
It's a name.
indecisiveness, are you saying that's more of a generational thing?
Usually when you have FOMO, it's because you didn't get invited to something, or you got invited and you're only going, you don't want to go, but you're afraid that you're going to miss out on what your friends are doing. It's not something you don't cancel because of FOMO, really.
So FOMO is a formality. What does FOMO mean?
Fear of missing out.
Oh, it's fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out. So
See,
maybe
in my mind, I'm going to make both happen. Let's make both happen.
If you tell
can.
somebody you're going to do something, do it. If you don't want to do it, then say, no, I don't want to do it. Don't give me the sure and then not show up.
But there's so many different. We have so many different choices right now.
Too many choices.
More than ever before. So if somebody, you made plans to go to a movie, and then somebody says, "Oh, I have tickets to a concert. Do you want to go?" Like, yeah, sure, I'm ditching the movie. But what happened to? So that creates a challenge for the other person. They feel abandoned. They feel hurt. Like, how do we stand? How do we share with people that there's certain things called common courtesies? There's certain things called morals, ethics, values. There are certain ways we live our life to make the world a better place, to make our world a better place. Otherwise, we create our own challenges.
So do we say we're selfish and we don't want to? I know it's the
Yes.
big S word.
Yes.
Now, Jeanette, I know that you're busting at the seams to say something here, but you just chime in. Are we selfish as a culture? Is that what's going on?
I think it's ADD.
Make sure that light is on. Is it?
Okay.
Yeah? Okay, you're on.
I think everybody has ADD.
The whole world is a
It's-
giant ad.
And
Everybody's an ad. You're an ad. You're an ad. You definitely are an ad. You're becoming an ad, and God help us when you get there. Everybody's an ad.
Well, it's attention deficit disorder. I mean, it's whatever is the best at that moment gets the attention. And unfortunately, it is selfish and it is discourteous, and you wouldn't do that to people that you really love.
Now, let me ask you a question.
Oh, no, I'm afraid.
I see that it's uncomfortable for you to say that because it's not the it isn't?
No.
Politically
I think it's
correctness.
truthful, but most people don't say it.
Because of politically correctness, which has overtaken the whole society. If you stink, if your underarms smell, do you tell someone, listen, you got to go to the bathroom, you got to take care of some business here because you're among people? I mean, would you do it?
Or you just suck it up. I would be the latter.
Which means you wouldn't tell them?
No.
Would you tell them?
Yeah.
Would you tell them?
I would ask them what they've been doing.
Or you're being politically nice?
I'd be nice about
Meanwhile,
it.
what if you only have a minute on the clock, which you don't have time to get into the
Freddie,
history?
I would tell them. I'd tell them nicely. Yeah. Look, we got to have authentic voices, right? That's what this show is all about.
What is nicely you stink?
Well, because you're thinking about the other person. So this goes with tip number 1.
Okay.
How do you work through a challenge? You become a loving, caring, sharing creator. So everything you do, your actions, your speech, your sharing comes from a caring place. So I would actually want to care about this person because I wouldn't want this person to be embarrassed. Like if they walk into a room and stink up the whole place, that's embarrassing.
So you could take them to the side?
Out of caring for this person.
See, that's why a reptile and an alligator have different...
I would care for the person.
Would you guys tell somebody, sniff, sniff, shoot, bang, bang? Would you tell them? You have. You ever gone on a date with somebody and forgot to change their shorts or whatever? You ever had that problem? Would you tell them? You would tell them. Okay. At least we're getting halfway home. Because I'm going to tell you, I have dated certain females in my younger days when they were younger that I said, listen, I don't feel very well. I'm going home. This date is now over. And they said, why? And I told them the truth. But let me ask you a question. I mean, Ann, the truth is the truth.
The truth has to be mitigated with caring.
You have to love them and put the arm around them.
You don't have to love them, but you have to care, and they have to get that caring. Caring, you talk about, okay, B-O. If you're not authentic and you smell like, am I allowed to say?
No.
Okay.
Poo-poo.
Eh? No poo?
Poo-poo. You can say poo-poo.
Okay, poo-poo.
You smell like poo-poo.
If you smell like poo-poo, then you are poo-poo. People get your authenticity. So if you really care for them, they're going to want to hear from you.
Okay.
But if you're not authentic, don't open your mouth. Don't even go there. So it goes back again to like really checking in with yourself and asking yourself, can I be authentic about this? Can I really be caring about this?
Am I allowed to be honest about this?
Yes.
Within a certain degree.
Yes.
Okay.
Without being too offensive.
Without being
hurting their
not being
feelings.
as offensive.
Right.
Okay. Now let's switch it up and let's say that somebody is acting very not cool. What's another word for that?
Discourteous.
Like that.
Discourteous.
Like a jerk?
Like a jerk. Now they're acting like a jerk. They're putting their feet on the table. The whole 9 yards. Are you going to be politically correct and be nice to this person who's being disruptive, is insulting everybody in sight?
I don't know if it's called being politically correct. I think it just falls back into caring. And what are you caring about? You're caring about the other person's brand.
Okay.
So what do I mean by that? So each person is put here on this earth with a mission and a purpose. And it's usually a good one.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can see the godlike spark inside that person, if you can talk to that goodness to that person, then what you're trying to do is bring to their attention that their brand, how they're presenting themselves, is not beneficial to them or for the universe. So if you can approach situations that way, go for it.
So a harsh challenge is what I'm presenting. Harsh challenge. A harsh challenge. This is a tough challenge. This person, they may give you the finger. Oops, did I do that on the way? They may give you the finger.
Put it down.
Because they're being harsh. And you still are going to be sympathetic to their feelings? Yes?
Look, sometimes it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. You do the best you can, but if there's no space, there's no space, and you move on.
Okay.
But you be the one to set the tone.
I think it's also about knowing when you're supposed to be the observer and when you're supposed to set your own personal boundaries. Correct. Like if it's something that's happening involving other parties, you know, I try to go within and figure out, am I supposed to get involved in this or am I supposed to be the observer? And maybe it's something I'm supposed to reflect on about myself. And that's where I leave it.
That's a different message.
I had a story happen to me this week, which was pretty, it was pretty challenging for me emotionally. I have a friend who is not posting on social media in a very positive way. And people are pretty much turned off by it. So somebody approached me and said, we think you would be the right person to talk to her to suggest that her message could be better represented.
Okay.
Wow. How do you do something like that? So I took some time, so this is another tool, to really get centered and think about it. How I needed to come to a place where I could approach her from a place of caring, that she felt the caring. So it took me a few days. I kept asking myself, am I ready to do this? Am I ready to share this with her? No, I'm still nervous about this. I'm still self-conscious. I'm still not sure about my words. Because if you approach someone in that space, then that's the smell. They smell the poo-poo. So I don't like talking like that, but okay. So it took me about 3 days to get to the space where I could approach her. And once I did, she was so happy. She changed all of her posts, and she's getting a much more positive response. So,
but you also have a close relationship with her, right?
No, I think she was introduced.
It also depends.
I think you were just introduced.
I have a close relationship with her, but not one that's ever been tested. So
it's funny because in our world, because we go to different places. Half the time I don't even know who's coming on the set. I didn't know Jeanette was coming on the set. I don't know. And I sort of have to feel my way as to what not to say and what to say. And usually that's why I have black and blues all over my legs. She kicks me under the table because sometimes I'll say something and then her bookend over here will look at me like, don't say that, like Viagra.
Why can't we say that?
No, it's the way it was used. But the funny thing is that you have to sort of make these decisions as you go along.
Yeah.
People actually are tuning in, they're writing in. They want to hear about what makes you good or what you can change because it's not making you too good. And sometimes you don't have a lot of time to make these decisions. What do you do on the short end?
So, Freddie, the thing is over time, you become a master at it.
Oh.
Over time of practicing, stop. Which path do I want to take? Do I want to make that switch in my brain? Do I want to be the brand, the channel for creating loving, caring, sharing, and healing in the world? Or do I want to be the channel for creating pain, suffering, chaos, and victimhood in the world? You make that switch, and then that's what guides you. But first you have to stop and make that switch. So,
listen, we're going to take a break so you can make a switch. And if you want more information, what's the website? The
website is ANNESHOSHA. NA at excuse me, don't let me forget the D for divine.
D for divine.
At gmail.com.
Now, do you have a phone number too?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll get to that in a second. Let's get that again.
So it's Ann Shoshana, D for divine, at gmail.com.
And what's your phone number, honey?
561-501-1627.
And give it again slowly.
561-501-1627.
And they're actually speaking with Ann. Okay, we're going to be right back. Let's put a rack up, and we'll be back in 2 and 2, which is how much?
4.
4. I'm learning. We're back at 4. All right, we'll be right back.
Does your business Moby Pop? A new way to grow your business. Using a simple keyword, drive customers right to you with just a click. Customers will receive your personalized digital business card within seconds with all your contact information in one place, including a gallery of photos, videos, and clear call to action that drives sales. Promote your products and services or share a hot new listing with custom event pages and RSVP form, boosting qualified leads. Special offers and promotions are directly sent to your potential customers' phones with text campaigns, increasing foot traffic and creating a loyal following. Let MobiPop drive your marketing campaign. Focus on your business. Let MobiPop focus on growing it.
Welcome a new sponsor to the show. It's AMP2 TV. the first and only internet production company that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet TV radio production company, discover AMP2 TV, a full-service production company that can provide all streaming videos in studio or remotely. They offer web page development, and they use all the latest platforms to help make all your business selling points more powerful. They can do remotes or live radio streaming as well as tape productions for social media platforms and television. AMP2 TV can handle all of your television needs, including closed caption for a perfect on-air telecast. Choose from a variety of creative TV and radio packages or visit one of their many studios to get your creative juices flowing. Come and see why AMP2 TV works with many major companies, including Comcast, Bravo, and Fox 29, as well as individuals and businesses of all types and sizes. To see samples of their work or to find out more, visit their website at amp2.tv. That's A-M-E, the number 2.tv, or call them at 866-224-5422. Feel free to call for a quote or just a consult of how to put your business on a social media platform or radio platform, or just doing a show that is covered by all platforms. Call 866-224-5422 and make an appointment. That's 866-224-5422.
Do you want to enhance your love life with flowers? Rejuvenate love, life, health with flowers from Blossom Moments? Weekly deliveries to your home, your business, hospital, or even senior centers. Give us a call at 561-951-6343. Blossom Moments could also coordinate your wedding or event. Contact Blossom Moments at bmgevents.net. For all of your floral event needs, large or small, call Blossom Moments. 561-951-6343. And we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you for watching the Brooklyn Cafe, where every day is a new adventure. If you'd like to join Dawn and Freddie S. at the cafe, give them a call at 888-565-1470 toll-free. Come on in for a cup of coffee or call to share a thought for the day and get all the information you need to help your business grow. Don't forget, sharing is caring, and to like this video. Let's reopen the cafe doors now. Back to Dawn and Freddie S.
And we're back.
And this segment is brought to you by Dignity. Celebrate life. 561-654-9000. DignityMemorial.com. And AMP. That can be found at ampitup.fm. And Blossom. 561-951-6343.
Get out of the doghouse. If you have a problem with your spouse, call Blossom. She's going to hook you up. Just tell her you want to get out of the doghouse bouquet, and she'll take care of you.
Personal experience, huh?
Absolutely.
How many bouquets have you bought recently?
I must have sold her out 20 times. You have no idea. But that's the way it works. And they give you lemon, you make a little lemonade. Also, I want you to know that online radio, ampitup.fm, will be starting on Monday. And we are going to have our producers become DJs.
Oh,
on the air. We're going to have a podcast channel and everything else going on with that. And I'm going to give you a hint. We are going to the Big Apple.
Ooh, I'm ready to go.
When are we going to
the Big Apple?
When are we going?
If you want to join us in New York, I'm going to tell you how this whole thing plays out. Wait till you see what's going on. I will be there on the weekends making everything beautiful. So I'll give you more information next week. But if you hear us say we're going to New York, I send out the Empire State Building and King Kong and the whole nine. There's a reason for all that. We'll explain it.
I don't care about that. I just want to wear my boots.
You want it to be cold?
She wants to wear her boots.
I want to wear my boots.
Don't you wear boots in Florida too? You do, right?
People pull the Uggs out when it drops to 30 degrees, right?
Well, you heard it's going to get real cold. I think it's going to be 90. But they keep telling me it's going to get real cold.
Yeah. I don't care. It goes below 70. I'm in the boots.
You like New York?
It's cold.
Oh, I love.
You love New York?
Yeah.
When was the last time you were there?
Little while ago, but I'm from a big city, so
where are you from?
I'm from Montreal.
Oh, that's cold.
Bring it on.
Only went one time to Montreal. Minus 42 degrees. I says I'm not leaving the airport.
You know, you come out of the airport and you breathe in and you crystallize your lungs.
Yes.
Yeah, that kind of cold.
That type of cold.
We don't like that.
But put on the boots, put on the fur, put on the jackets.
You love
let
the
it
cold?
go.
Where are you from?
Florida. But I
You're from Florida.
Spent 18 years out west.
Out west where?
California. I've traveled through Oregon, Montana.
Where in California were you?
Los Angeles.
Okay.
So you like riding horses and stuff?
No, I like backpacking up mountains.
Oh, yeah.
In the cold.
Oh, my goodness. It's just too much work. And is
Love
it true in California the ground shakes, right?
The ground does shake.
Does it?
Oh, yeah. I've
A
had
lot?
several
If
experiences.
that's not burning, the ground is shaking.
Yeah.
Talk about challenges.
I remember being in a car and I felt the car and I thought, what happened? I went to the grocery store, everything was knocked over. I'm like, oh, that was an earthquake. That was like my first experience with
And it
one.
happens all the time?
It doesn't happen all the time, but I mean, some of the things I was feeling, I realized, oh, those were little earthquakes.
Yeah, little tremors.
And then the buildings there, the newer buildings are built on rollers. So I remember being in a building, I was only been there like 6 months, and I went to my staff and said, the building's moving. Are we having an earthquake? And they're like, no, it's the rollers. The wind's blowing. I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of handy.
The wind is blowing.
Yeah.
So get this. If we're doing this shoot, can you imagine things start to shake? What do? They stop production?
When it shakes? No, people just pick up the stuff that falls in the aisle and go about life, unless there's been a major.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's the same. Yeah, the rollers.
The rollers.
Well, we just have to keep you warm, Freddie, because iguanas don't do good in New York, and we don't want you falling out of the tree on one of us. So,
You know, it's really funny. She called me iguana, and Chef Z called me a serpent, right? A snake.
You might need to.
What is
you
it
might
with
need to
this?
send her a bouquet. She sounds a little upset.
But what is it with me and stuff close to the ground? Why can't I be like a kangaroo or something? Everything I do is like on my belly, like an iguana.
actually, Freddie, you want to know why?
I'm afraid to
You have a primal brain.
Well, because I'm going to get in a lot of trouble with this one, but hey. So there is a difference between men and women.
And here it comes.
And men are more connected to physicality, which would, by default, bring them closer to the ground. So does that make sense?
That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Oh, it does. I'm trying to be politically correct. I don't know how to say
I'm
this.
You're
closer-
almost saying they're more grounded.
No.
No, they're not grounded.
I'm
She's
saying
the
they're more.
opposite.
I'm saying they're more They're more swayed by their physical desires.
Oh, okay.
Okay, they're more. No, Freddie, you don't like that. Should I just say it?
Yeah, why don't you say what you say?
Well, like men just are more
Visual.
visual and connected to physical pleasures.
Really? We're more into juicy fruit than we are in chewing the gum. Is that what you're saying? Really? Now let me ask you a question there, oh wise one.
Oh boy.
Men look because the fruit on the tree wants to be looked at. Women, you get beautifully attuned, you get the hair done. You never leave the house without makeup, do you?
Of course, all the time.
Oh, yeah, huh? But your hair's done. You're dressed appropriately. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You don't want men to look at you, then why are you wearing that bikini? Why are people putting on them boots and shoes? Why are you looking
Because
sexy?
we live in a world, and I'm going to bring it back to what we talked about with the phones and the Xbox and the everything.
Yeah.
We're all into this gratification, immediate, and we all love that feeling. It's intoxicating.
Yes. So isn't it real that if men or me is more about the physicality,
That's a good
then I'm
word.
being led down that road because of the physicality?
Well, then here's the thing.
Yes.
Where is your
Back off,
ability to change your nature? Because that's
But why do I need to change my nature?
Because when we're being led down the road of physicality,
Yeah.
as you like to say,
Yes.
then we don't see the other side of life. That there are two sides. There's the physical and there's the spiritual. There's two parts to our personality, to our being, that needs to be explored and nurtured. The physical side is much easier to nurture and pander to because it's physical. It's there.
Well, let me ask you a question. Spiritually, you can be attractive too.
Yes.
So maybe, just maybe, what I'm looking at is that.
Yes.
And
but
you're confusing that with, no?
actually,
He wants you to know he's a little bit deeper than he seems.
Maybe.
you are. But here's the thing. Challenges arise when we let the physicality run us. when we let our reactive nature take us because it's easier, when we don't watch what we say, when we pursue pleasure for pleasure's sake. There's another side. And what happens? What? It's such a man response.
It's
He's
so
giggling.
funny. Do you talk to men in general this way, or it's just me that you're picking on? I just want to know the truth. Because sometimes what may appear real isn't.
Men are more connected to physicality
You
and
think
its
so?
pleasures.
Really?
Yes. They are, and when they let that run them and not their intellect, then they become blocked from being balanced. Is that a good way of putting that?
That's your perception. You're entitled to that.
Okay.
I think that women are more into physicality.
In what way?
Because they're clever as to how they hide it.
Hide what?
Physicality. Women love being physicality. They love being in control of physicality. And
Look,
they are the most clever.
Freddie, I'm not the one walking down the street, ogling a woman's behind and getting run over a car, being hit by a bicycle, or running into a stop sign.
Okay, and I'm not
How come that's what you see?
No, that's what you say I see. I'm not the
Freddie,
one. I'm
on
not
the
the
rim
one
of your
that says,
hat is
hold on,
something
I'm
that
not-
crawls on the ground.
Hold on. I am not the one that goes to South Beach.
On the rim of your hat is something that crawls on the ground.
I'm not the one that goes to South Beach.
Yeah, there is something on your hat, Freddie.
Oh, she really meant there was something on your hat.
I was wondering. I'm not the one that goes to South Beach and wears.
Oh, God.
Here, I'm going to help you.
I'm allergic to them. You got it?
No, it's still on there.
Don't put it near me.
There we go.
No, I don't know what that is. That came from the AC.
Problem solved.
I'm not the one that goes down to the South Beach, wears a ribbon in their hair.
And that's it?
And that's it.
Okay. So can we table this conversation for
Yes,
another day?
absolutely.
He goes
Okay.
to Fort Lauderdale when he does it.
Yeah. I go to Fort Lauderdale where I go watch it. But who am I? How can you blame me for being someone who's watching things that are being presented? I mean, I love that fruit dish over there. I watched that.
Okay. So, but there's also restriction in that too,
I
right?
didn't eat it. I didn't touch it. I watched it.
You know, I think it's okay for men to admire beauty and women to admire beauty. You know, as long as there's a reasonable balance, right?
I
There's
don't.
room for
I
both you.
have never been accused of ever touching something that don't belong to me.
Okay,
Thank God.
Huh?
Thank God, there'd be another bouquet.
That's right. But I have. But I have.
Harvey
seen-
Weinstein over.
But I have seen women. I'm just saying who have attempted to want more than just hello. And I said, well, how you doing? And we keep going. She don't know about the lemon test and all that I do, right? There's a whole bunch of stuff. You got to learn me. I'm going to show you. That ain't me. I know that
You're
that's
saying
what
you can't
think.
stereotype every man.
You can't.
No,
Yeah.
you can't. But there are certain universal truths. And again, it's a conversation for another show.
We show universal that on another show. Okay, let's keep going. Let's move on. Tell us a little bit more. She makes me laugh. Tell us a little bit more about the chapters in the book that you got cooking in here. What does the book talk about?
The book talks about basically how to grow from good to better, how to know yourself, how to balance yourself, how to know your life's purpose and mission and live it. Because if we don't live what we're here to do, then we're not going to be really happy people. It explains that we live in a world, a dual world, that we have a good guy and we have a bad guy. We have two forces that we're connected to, and how to understand which force runs us at any given moment. When the good guy is running us, we're usually able to love, care, and share and create. But when the bad guy is running us, which is the part that is sometimes connected to unrestricted physicality, that's all I'm saying.
That's a
but
bad guy?
Well, because when it's unrestricted, and it's just taking and taking and taking and being selfish, then it's not so good. Like you said, it's all about balance. So we need to balance and know how to walk through life in balance.
You touched upon something that I'm hearing a lot. I'm hearing the word mission kind of thrown out there a lot lately. Can you tell us what's the difference between a life purpose and mission? Because there are two different things.
Well, the life's purpose is what you're here to do. each one of us is born with a purpose. We don't come here just to take up space. I think I mentioned that before.
Yeah.
For some of us, it's to do what Freddie's doing, to share his voice with and sharing wisdom and knowledge to help people transform.
With humor, by the way. You do it very well.
Do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And your purpose is to kill little living...
Kill the bugs on his
Kill
hat.
the bugs on his hat, right. Then the other purposes are things like my husband is a physician, so his job is to be here, is to be healer. We have a healer sitting here on the show as well. So there are many different missions. Some people, it's just to be a great mom.
So are you linking life purpose and mission as the same thing?
Your purpose is what you're here to correct, and your mission is how you manifest it.
Okay. So can you give an example of how you would manifest that?
So, for example, I'll talk about myself.
Sure.
So, through pain and challenges. Oh, we're back to challenges, Freddie.
Back to challenges.
Back to challenges.
Now, what a challenge I have before me.
So, being divorced, not knowing what my life's purpose was, what my mission was, I was kind of adrift in life, and I went through a lot of wake-up calls. So many people don't even know what their purpose and mission is in life unless they're smashed around a bit with a lot of pain, like, no pain, no gain, and people hate that statement, by the way.
Right.
People hate that. I call it the age-old, disgusting, iconic statement, no pain, no gain. But there's some truth to that. Like Freddie was sharing last week about all the challenges he was going through and getting this this show going and moving and the new studio.
Freddie calls it going outside your comfort zone, right?
That's right.
He also called it a 12-layer cake.
But there were 12 things going on at once.
Yes.
Not that I was eating cake.
Perfect.
Don't tell the wellness coach this.
God doesn't give you what you can't handle.
Exactly.
So I'm going to tell him he's gotten close.
No, you
Just
can
saying.
handle it, Freddie. We know you can.
It's pushing.
Diamond. Pressure. Diamond. So there was a lot of those moments in my life. And I realized, and I started learning spiritual disciplines. I went back to school, and I started to realize this is what I love to do. So it evolved. As Freddie likes to say, things evolve organically. So it evolved organically. So this is my mission and my purpose. It's a feeling inside. When you wake up in the morning, I say, do you remember that feeling? Can you pinpoint those moments when you felt so on fire, so alive, so passionate about something that you just had to share what you were doing? Like it became your driving vision.
And you were working without working, right?
And you were
Didn't feel like
working
work.
without working. And that's when I realized most people don't even know what that is. So when I asked them that, I have a great story to tell you. Do we have time for a story?
Yes.
Okay. So I have a great story. So there was this woman in my class, and she was a Holocaust survivor. So when I asked the class, what is your mission? What is your purpose? What turns you on to such a degree that you don't eat, you don't sleep, you're on fire with energy that everything physical, Freddie, everything physical.
She says I'm the physical one. Just saying.
Everything physical like goes to the wayside, and you're just focused on being in the moment. So I'm thinking to myself, because she's in her late 80s, and she goes on many trips called the March of the Living. This is where you go into Holocaust concentration camps, and you take children to see what went on, etc. And she's one of the leaders. And she said it's very emotionally draining, but she doesn't eat, she doesn't sleep, it's cold, she's tired, etc. So I thought in my naivete that that's what she would be sharing. So instead, she floored me, and it made me realize that most of us don't realize and even know what our passion is. She said that her passion, her mission in life, is to make her husband dinner every night.
That's a nice passion.
Yeah.
I said, okay then. So I asked her, I said, does that make you give up food? Does that make you want to go all night long without sleep? Does that make you so full of fire and excited that you're just beaming from head to toe? Well, she said, no. And I said, well, what makes you feel that way? Now, of course, at this point, obviously, I'm leading her, right? She said, oh, that's easy. She says, when I lead the March of the Living. And I said, that's it. When you do Holocaust education, when you go on the March of the Living, when you're this is one of your, of course, you have to go through one of the most horrific experiences that humanity has endured. But pulling it all back into challenges, and please God, we should never be tested with those type of challenges. Never. But how she's been able to turn the switch and choose to share through her tragedy and come out the other end in a loving, caring, sharing way, paying it forward, whatever you want to say. And now she takes everyone on these trips back to the scene of this horrific experience in her life. But she's been able to turn that around, and it juices her. Is that a good word?
Yeah, I like it.
Juices.
Yes. You know, when I was 16 and I was approved to go to NYU, I had choice of any college I wanted. I made it even to one of the top schools in the country. I had a half a scholarship to go, but I ended up going to NYU. And I sat one day, I was at a table, and I said, you know, I hit the promised land. I am here. I'm at NYU. I was a 4.0 student. I played football. I played baseball. I said, God is great. I got everything I need right now. I am at the top of that mountain. I am blowing that horn. And the next day, I lost almost everything. 2 divorces later, I lost my health. I'm a diabetic. And all of this journey that I've learned until maybe 3 years ago, when I was laying in my deathbed and I was told, you ain't leaving. It came to me that the journey written is the one that is said by everyone else around me and not about me. Paying it forward. So all of this, the platform, and that lady standing over there helped me come back to being here. True story. She was one of the 24 people that came forward. They changed. So I'm a firm believer. We all have a story. We just got to catch up. We got to catch up to that message, whether you're a man, woman, or child. And the quicker you get there, the quicker you're going to get to this realization you're talking about.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and that's why I'm so grateful to be here with all of you and be able to share the message and the mission and the passion, is because it's too often that we can really, because of the world that we live in, where we're not clear about what our passion is, where we think that our mission is to make more money. We think our mission is to buy that other house, to get another car, status, people look up to us, what people think about us, that often prevents us from speaking our authentic purpose.
Yeah, but that's not a mission. Making more money is not a mission. Making more money is a side gig of what your mission is going to be.
No, some people. I dated
some
a guy.
People do.
He
Absolutely.
was drilled into that message.
I did a Series 7. I was a broker.
Yeah.
I used to sell stocks and bonds. I was making. It was a time in my life I had $6.5 million. I made in 6 months. But that is not the calling.
But you have to learn that.
But you got to learn the hard way that it isn't about the money. It's about the journey.
And I think you have to ask yourself what you're really looking for. Like people who say, oh, I want to be rich, I want this. Or well, are you looking for security? Is that what you're really hoping to manifest? When you ask yourself, you tell yourself that you want a great love, is it that really you want to love yourself more or, have a better relationship with yourself? Like what is it that you really, really want? Because it may not be those outside things. You're looking for something else.
Clarity?
Yeah.
You want to define what you want?
There's a global purpose or mission, if I may. Universal Wisdom shares that we are here to enjoy a life of fulfillment, passion, purpose, health, abundance. We're here basically to have it all, and more than that, that is our birthright and destiny.
Okay, I'll give you that.
So people ask me all the time, well, then why does life look so messy, painful, and chaotic?
Because that's what it takes to get it for some people, right?
No pain, no gain. No pain, no gain.
But you got to learn what that message is before you can play out that game.
You start listening. It start whispering to you. It starts to whisper to you very quietly and gently. Each situation that you find, the Universal Wisdom calls. We have something called a tikkun. I think we've talked about this just briefly.
I remember the tikkun.
The tikkun. A tikkun is a correction.
That's right. Tikkun this.
So
tikkun it.
We are constantly put in situations over and over again. So if you have an issue with anger, so you're constantly going to be put into a situation where your iguana is going to come out.
I never
the button is going to be pushed, and you're going to get angry, and you're going to get angry. And it's kind of like the movie Groundhog Day. I love that movie.
Yeah.
If you've not seen that movie, I have all of my coaching clients watch that movie to understand this concept of tikkun. And each day he's living the same day over and over again. Why? Because he's not getting it. He's a jerk. He's selfish. He wants the girl that doesn't belong to him. He wants the job that doesn't belong to him.
But that's reactive, fam.
You're right.
The funny thing about all of that is, are you angry at what they said or about how they act?
In the movie?
No, I mean in life. If somebody comes along and says something that makes you angry, are you angry at what they said or are you angry about who they...
Both. You're angry at both.
Why?
Ego.
But that's their problem.
But you still can get reactive, Freddie.
Why?
Why
What
not?
has reactive ever done for me? Except maybe put me in the hospital.
Well, then you've had that
Create
challenge.
an enemy.
Yeah.
I mean, I got into
Bad
war
karma.
with a lot of people. But you see, this body has suffered enough. You want to be who you want to be, that's okay.
But how much pain and suffering did it take to get you to this realization,
That's a
Freddie?
different animal.
Okay.
But
So?
I wish this is why I have these guys here. And I'm telling them, don't let the forces of evil, or whatever you want to call them, come down on you. Look at the light of who you are and play that game out.
Unfortunately, hopefully this message will permeate, but
It will.
usually people need to do it for themselves. They need
It
to
will.
learn their own lessons.
Honey, I'm telling you, I've had over 300 producers in my stable, and everyone has left here a little inch closer. That's all you can ask for, is an inch closer.
You're right.
And there are people around you, like that young lady over there, that will help you along the way, because some people will take their shirts off their back to help you. Never drown in a thimble of water. Be great at what you are, because you have to look in that mirror. And I love your message about challenges. And I got tons of them. Man, I could give you a book of challenges. But you know what? At the end of the day, you got your problems. You keep them. I don't want them. That's on you. You want to scream obscenities at me and yada, yada, yada. That's okay.
Yep.
But I got Ann, okay? And I got you, and you're all here. And the message here today is learn something. Don't tell me you don't have anything to choose from, because you do. Learn it.
Make friends with challenges.
That's right, because
They're
they're
your
your
best
friends.
friends.
That's right, because they
They're
make
your
you
best friend.
stronger.
They make you stronger.
I used to have
Take
a
you.
wise friend who used to say, think the universe of the opportunities. You know, that's what the challenges were.
And more people are going to look at you and scratch their heads and say, but you're not angry? Why? Why? I mean, I can tell you, I was in NYU. I went to a child's a hospital at NYU Medical. There were children all with tumors and cancer and death all around me. You want to see challenges? Look at those families.
Yeah, but you know, Freddie, this is the thing. That when things are going good, we tend to forget that there was a challenge. We fall back into this state of complacency, and the challenge then becomes to keep your gratitude at the forefront.
That's why I give everybody a pin, so you can put it in your shoe. So when things are going good, I want you to step on that pin. Just remember a little bit of pain, because that's how it took to get you there. Just remember that.
Amen,
Just remember
brother.
that.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, we reptiles have to.
Yeah, you
we have a little
reptiles have
something,
your
something
good
going
points.
on. Listen,
Wow.
I want to thank you guys for coming on. We're going to have a special for another 15, 20 minutes after the show. We're going to reboot Facebook so you can watch this, because I want to do something for Leslie on Carmen Care Laser and some of the other guests she has. I want to thank Ann for coming on.
Thank you, Freddie. Thank
And
you.
if you want to get in touch with Ann, what's the phone number first?
561-501-1627. Or just if you want to shoot me a line, email me at Ann with an E, Shoshana D for divine @gmail.com.
And next Wednesday, we're going to have her on the set as well. I can't tell you where we're going to be, but we're going to be on the set. And if you have a challenge you want to talk about, bring it. I like to hear it. What do you think?
I think it's a good idea.
You think so?
Let's start facing our challenges.
Yeah, you and all that Viagra stuff?
Yeah, well, it's you and all the Viagra.
That wasn't me. I don't know where you got that from. All right.
You might need to see Carmen.
No, I don't need to see Carmen. You just stay over there. We're going to be back in 2 + 2.
It's 4.
There you go. We'll be back with a special we're going to have for 15, 20 minutes. I want to thank you guys for coming on, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
About it for today. Even though the show is over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more goodwill next time. You can follow the cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. We'll see you next time. about it for today.